Okay, this one is coming in from Shiva on HDFC AMC. He's looking to buy for the longer term. He wants to know how should you look at an AMC because the AMC charges will decrease. Index funds are becoming popular. So he wants your view on HDFC AMC, Gaurang.
So, today again we have the Aditya Birla, AMC coming out with an IPO. And HDFC AMC, correct me if I'm wrong, I think the floor was somewhere close to about 1000 or 1100 rupees not too long ago. And from those levels, the stock that is HDFC AMC has created tremendous amount of wealth for long-term investors. We have a positive coverage on this one, Cheryl, and I would advise him to look at least 3 to 5 year. And prudent to do an SIP and HDFC AMC in case if you've not done an SIP and HDFC AMC, that is the mutual fund side, then I think this is a great reflection of the growth story that Indian equity markets has over a longer period of time.
All right, Kunal, next one's for you. Asha from Bengaluru is asking this question next. Tata Power, she's got 2,500 shares and she's got a very good entry level. If I say so myself, 95 rupees is her entry level. She's wondering whether to book profits at this juncture. Today would be an interesting day to do so, right?
Yeah, Alex, I think, these are the kind of days where, stocks, I would say if frankly, patience gets tested for many investors in these kind of stocks because, when the market gets into a bit of a jittery mode, stocks which move up, 5%, 7%, there is always an eagerness to try and, book these stocks and fill up the MTM. But I believe that these are the kind of, stocks and days where stocks are giving a signal that these are classical names which have given breakout. Tata Power finally managed to break out of its huge resistance spread over the last 10 to 12 years for itself. So I would suggest that if you're in the money and if you're in the money by a huge margin and there is no pressure in terms of you to liquidate your your investments over here, I would suggest you should continue to hold on.
Okay, this one is coming from Sapna, wants a view on APL Apollo Tubes. Should I wait or buy at current levels? What's your take on this one, Kunal, APL Apollo Tubes?
I've been tracking the stock very closely. It's done phenomenally well over the last 4 to 5 quarters, moving up. I remember, I think at one point of time, the stock was just about at 200 or 250 odd rupees. And from there, it's moved up to almost 1000 plus levels. Now it's going through a patch of consolidation / correction. I would suggest you should try and take opportunity of this. 820 is where the stock is trading. I think if it comes closer to 770, 775, that would be a retest of its 200-day moving average and good level for you to enter the stock.
Okay, Kunal, another one for you. Reliance Industries bought at levels of 2258, 54 shares. Mandar is asking this question. Should he, he's saying that he can wait. Should he do so?
So there's definitely to wait for Reliance Industries. Just given a breakout of of late for the stock, flag pattern breakout. So technically very very strong. And we've seen that how Reliance Industries has could probably tend to be in a zone of its own, even though the markets remain a bit choppy or volatile as well. So I would suggest a hold on Reliance.
This one is from Srinivas Rangaraju. He's saying he's purchased ICICI Lombard at an average price of about 1600 rupees per share. He's saying he's a long-term investor. So what should he do now? Stay put with it? And what sort of a target can he look at for ICICI Lombard? What's your take, Gaurang? ICICI Lombard makes sense for Srinivas to stay put with this holding, 1600 versus buy price.
So don't get disheartened if you got in at a good stock at a higher level, Cheryl. I think you should have the courage to hold on to the stock from a long-term point of view, and if the capital is something that you have further to deploy in terms of long-term investment, then use dips to average the stock. This is one of the best non-life general insurance stocks in terms of performance and earnings visibility, and has got a decent market share as well. So hold on and add on dips.
Okay, Shivanand Gaurang has got a question for you. Metropolis is the counter. Holding at slightly elevated levels, 3,200 or so, he's got 50 shares. The question is, should he hold on, considering that there are developments in this space, aren't there? Farm Easy coming out with an IPO, don't know what's going to happen to Thyrocare in that light. What should one do in the diagnostic space?
Morning, I heard that Lupin is planning to come out with a diagnosis business. So, I mean, this place is definitely going to get overcrowded. But not to forget, Alex, and as a disclosure, since this pandemic started last year, end of March, April 2020 and early 2020 April, we have been positive on the diagnosis space. And Metropolis, Thyrocare and Dr. Lal Path Labs, these are the three names that we are positive on. Only thing is with the recent downtick in terms of numbers, you might see a little bit of short to medium term money going out of these companies, which may lead to a little bit of lower levels. But long term, the business opportunity is extremely bright for all these companies.
Okay, this one is from Ravi Joshi and he's talking about exchanging solutions. He's saying that particular counter has not been moving of late. What's the short-term view on that particular counter? Kunal, do you track exchanging solutions? Do you have a view on this particular stock?
I don't track the stock very, very closely, but yes, the stock has been sideways as such. It's been just hanging around the 50-day moving average, and I think if I'm not wrong, the trading volumes for the stock is also very, very low. I think just about some 2,000, 2,500 odd shares, for the stock. So maybe I think it's on the back of some lack of trader participation and interest into the stock, which is why you're seeing such kind of trading activity. Don't track it that often, but I think looking at the charts as such, maybe another 10% correction from current levels could be a good entry point for the stock.
Okay, the next one is from Mr. K. Parthasarthi, who's a senior citizen from Chennai. I don't know if you have coverage, Kunal. The counter is Gujarat Mineral Development Corporation. It's buzzing in trade today and it's gaining as much as 7% or more than that. But Mr. Parthasarthi has gotten at very elevated levels. In fact, quite a long while back, he bought 150 shares at an average price of 185. And he's asking whether he can get his price. That's a bit of a far cry, but should he hold on?
The viewer can hold on to it, and there is a very important trend reversal which is shaping up for GMDC. Now it's at 75 levels. The last 4 months it's remained into a choppy consolidation. 63, 64 is the support or the lower end of this range, and 77, 78 is where you typically see the stock getting into a break, into a supply mode. But the volumes in the last 8-9 months for GMDC has increased dramatically, and that compared to the last 5 years or 6 years of the chunk of volumes for the stock, which means there have been fresh level of participation as well as fresh buyers who have entered into the stock. Now that could probably signal some sort of a turnaround which could be in play. It's just that the stock is taking its own time to try and break out of these resistances to move up higher. So I would suggest a hold, and if possible you can look to average if the stock comes back towards the dip around the 63 mark.
This one is from Abhishek Bandari. He's saying he has Tata Power, which he's purchased at 128 rupees per share. He wants to know whether he should hold or book profits. What's your take coming on this one, Gaurang? I know he would be wanting to know on the chart front as well, but we've seen a massive rally coming about for Tata Power. It's been buzzing off late, not only today, but if he were to adopt a strategy of maybe hold on for long, do you think makes sense, or should he go ahead and book profits?
So Cheryl, we believe that this is a rebirth of Tata Power, and right from those levels of 65-80, we've been recommending this stock on the fundamental side. And more importantly, Cheryl, I think whatever new business strategies that they've put in place augurs extremely well in terms of what the government is doing. At the same time, we also have solar energy, we have charging stations coming up, and that's the new business strategy that Tata Power has. And conventional business is also doing relatively well with the kind of policies that the government has put in place. So if you're not in a hurry, I think you should stay invested, but revisit the stock at 175, 180 once it reaches there. And I think by that time you'll have clarity in terms of earning also, and what kind of success has company gained in terms of the new business at ground level. So as of now, hold on to it. And if somebody wants to buy at current levels, start with some capital getting invested, and add-on dips would be the strategy.
Okay, Gaurang, interesting question coming in. This is from Mr. G. Sudhakar, who points out that he's a retired principal in Guntur, Andhra Pradesh. He's asking this correction that we've seen in the recent past in IT stocks, and he's named a few from the broader markets as well. N&T Tech. He's talked about Mindtree. He's talked about a large cap like Wipro. Should these be entered into, considering the kind of correction that they've had in the recent past?
Discussing in this morning with one of the other interaction that I had, that markets, not to forget markets, and like you were rightly also mentioning, from Jan 21 we've seen a stellar run on the markets, and especially the last couple of weeks we've gained tremendous amount of highs. And whenever you see these kind of levels coming through, it's only prudent that market consolidates, sees a little bit of profit booking, trades in a range that gives the new investors to come in. And with the kind of correction that we've seen in the IT sector, I think it's a great opportunity. And according to us, the spotlight on IT sector is not going to go away anytime sooner. So starting with TCS, Infosys, HCL Tech, Tech Mahindra, Mindtree, L&T Infotech, L&T Technologies, Coforge, Persistent Systems, Science Limited, all these companies are in our coverage in terms of long-term investment.
Okay, this one's from Chander Kala, and he's saying that he's holding on to Z Entertainment, which he's purchased at 220 rupees per share, about 50 shares of the Z. He wants to know, should he continue to hold or sell? What's your take coming on this one, Kunal?
So I would recommend a hold, even though the stock has been in the thick of news flow, but the price trends, the data on the F&O side, all of that is coming out to be very positive for Z. So yes, the stock could be in bout of a lot of volatility. So if you can absorb that kind of volatility and still stay put, I would suggest that you should stay invested over here.
Okay, I think a number of people are asking about Coal India, Kunal, and interesting, right? Different acquisition prices though. One person asking about acquisition at 180, another person has acquired levels of 132 in March. This is also your pick on the charts today. What would you suggest that they should do?
Last 3 days I've been recommending quite a lot for Coal India. Yesterday also we were discussing about this morning show. In the early morning show as well, pre-market I had given a buy on Coal India. Now I for one believe that this is a structural breakout for Coal India, something which is very, very rare, which you see into the PSU names. Now imagine a PSU stock like Coal India hitting an upper circuit. Now I don't remember the last time the stock had done this. At least in the last 2-3 years, we've not seen this kind of price phenomena. And whenever that has been signaled for stocks which change their behavior and characteristics, they go through a very strong structural uptrend. So this could be the first month which has been signaled for the stock that it's now starting a strong uptrend for itself. For someone who's been buying these stocks or has been holding these stocks, as you mentioned, some of them at 180 and some of them maybe below that as well, I would definitely recommend a hold. And if possible, that if the stock goes through a silent period of correction or consolidation, use that as an opportunity to run average further.
Okay, I hope, Sagar, that also answers your question on Coal India. Moving on, this one has come from Aditya Kulkarni. He wants a view on Tirumalai Chemicals for a swing trade. Kunal?
Tirumalai Chemicals, right?
Yes, right.
I think it's a fabulous chart. The stock has just gained strength, after strength in the last 14-15 months of the market rally. Even at current levels, at 300, 302 where the stock is placed, it's completing a bullish flag pattern breakout. So I would suggest keep today's low as a stop loss. That's around 284.85 for Tirumalai Chemicals. And the target potential for this could be at least a 50 pointer from current levels. So a risk reward of 1:2.5 for the stock, and targets potential could be around 350 plus for the same.
Okay, this next one is on Aurobindo Pharma is the stock, Gaurang, and I'm just trying to pull up the chart here. It's currently trading 732 or thereabouts. We've got Kumaraswamy who's bought at levels of 987 or thereabouts. Should he hold on to this? Should he average at this point? What's the view?
So my advice would be, it would be prudent to average, because our target stands at his acquisition price, 980 odd. So, and of course the stock is trading at a considerable lower level than his earlier acquisition price. So if he's got investable amount, I think if he can, maybe about 70-80% or even 100% averaging would not be a bad idea, thereby bringing down his acquisition price and then revisit the stock at those levels, 980 odd.
All right, and with that, we come to the end of our query segment. Thank you, Kunal Bothra, as well as Gaurang Shah, for joining us on the show, talking about crude and also resolving the viewer queries. We are actually going to be shortly joined by the management of Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC. Remember, the Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC IPO kicks off today. With a price band of 695 to 712 rupees per share. My colleague Pankaj Podar caught up with A. Balasubramanian, who is the MD and CEO of Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC, to talk about the fundraise plans and more about the issue. Listen in to what he had to say.
I think clearly, when I joined, of course, the firm 27 years back, I could never think that, yes, you'll be working with this company for 27 years and finally see the day of listing. It's a historic moment for any business for taking the company to listed space. Definitely it's a happy moment for all of us at Aditya Birla Sun Life AMC, Aditya Birla Capital, as well as